erupts in the Falklands. For the latest developments, stay with ABC News.
A brand new attack tonight in the South Atlantic, and at the same time, talk of a 7-point ceasefire between Britain and Argentina. We'll have the latest on the Falkland Island crisis in just a moment. Dana?
The UAW has come to terms with another auto supplier, and once again, sacrifices are part of the bargain. And other talks being planned tonight to avert a strike involving the Teamsters Union. Rich?
Tough day today for Jack Morris and the Detroit Tigers, and a good day today if you happen to be a weatherman. Daryl Crouch will be along with the weather, Steve Garagiola, the sports, and Dana Eubanks and I, the news, next on Channel 7's 11 o'clock Action News.
A lot of muffler shops try to be like Midas.
Muffler problem? No problem.
But after 25 years,
There's still only one Midas.
Little Caesar's Pizza, the one that gets you too.
I'm a Pizza Pride person.
And I'm a Pizza Pride person, too.
One of our Pizza secrets is our new Pizza Pride oven.
Cooks up great tasting pizzas fast. Just 10 minutes, so there's no delay.
Can I be a Pizza Pride person, too?
Sure can.
Pizza! And send you smiling on your way.
WOMC FM 104 means music, your favorite music, and more of it, hour after hour music. Music that lifts you up, exciting music, music that winds you down, relaxing music. WOMC FM 104 plays more of your favorite music. FM 104, FM 104.
Homeless, tonight, 7:30 on 7. From Michigan's #1 news station, this is Channel 7's 11 p.m. Action News with Rich Fisher, Dana Eubanks, and Detroit's first news team.
Good evening, everyone. A day of calm in the Falkland Islands dispute was shattered around 3 o'clock Detroit time today when, according to British reports, one of Her Majesty's submarines fired torpedoes at an Argentine ship. The British report the torpedoes caused severe damage to the ship called the General Belgrano. The damaged ship is Argentina's only cruiser, an 11,000-ton vessel armed with surface-to-air missiles and carrying an estimated 1,000 crewmen. The ship was originally built in 1939 for the U.S. Navy. Argentina bought her in 1951 for nearly $8 million. No word from Argentina on possible casualties or even to confirm that attack. Yesterday, the British staged a bombing raid on the Falklands airport at Port Stanley and at a grass landing strip 50 miles to the west. The British report there are bomb craters at both targets, making it impossible for Argentina to land supplies or reinforcements on the Falklands. What's next? Well, there are conflicting theories on the next move the British will make. Most of the troops on board the war fleet expect to be sent ashore to retake the Falklands, with the invasion taking place within a matter of days or even hours, because the weather on the islands, quite frankly, is getting more and more wintry. But American military experts are also suggesting that the British will tighten the screws, applying more and more military pressure, making Argentina's invasion force on the islands increasingly more uncomfortable. At that point, a negotiated settlement would be much harder for Argentina to refuse. And in fact, there is a report tonight that such a negotiated ceasefire may be on the way. The report was made by the president of Peru, who said Argentina and Britain were ready to sign a 7-point agreement. The Peruvian leader gave no details, but shortly after he predicted the ceasefire, the British reported that they had torpedoed the Argentine cruiser. It may not be all-out war, but it is certainly a war of nerves, and then some. Dana?
Well, the crisis in the Falklands isn't causing much concern among executives at Ford tonight, even though Ford is the largest U.S. company doing business in Argentina. A Ford spokesman says the conflict between Argentina and Great Britain has not caused the company to change its Argentine operations in any way. And the U.S. sanctions imposed on Argentina are not expected to have any major impact on Ford business, according to that spokesman. The #2 U.S. automaker has been operating in Argentina for 70 years. The votes are in tonight on a concessions contract for the workers of Kelsey Hayes, an auto industry supplier with plants in Detroit and Romulus. The balloting took place today at a UAW hall in Dearborn. When the votes were all counted, the Kelsey Hayes workers had approved the concessions by a margin of 2-1. Still, Channel 7's Jack McCarthy heard some strong arguments on both sides of the issue.
I voted no, Jack. I can't see money off the top of our wages Nothing else is taking concession. Utility bills continue to raise. Everything else I can see giving concession in areas of paid days and things of this nature, but not money off the top.
There's lots of people out in the street, and I know that myself, and I'm lucky just to be working because right now I'm working sometime, maybe 2 weeks, and then I'll be off a week, you know. So I'm trying to look out not only for myself, I'm looking out for the ones that really out in the street that have their family and homes and cars. There's so many have already lost their homes and cars or whatever. So I hope I don't want to be one of them, you understand? So I'm trying to do my best, so I just voted yes.
The Kelsey Hayes workers did tell us the concessions will eventually cost them about $40 a week. Rich?
Dana, in a related story, a year ago, most of them probably hadn't even considered it, but tonight, hundreds of salaried GM workers are thinking very seriously about the possibility of unionizing. About 500 GM employees from across the state attended a special meeting in Flint today to discuss the idea of forming a union for white-collar auto workers. GM has announced plans to lay off 18,000 salaried workers, and that move has caused supervisors, engineers, secretaries, and other salaried workers to come together in a call for job security.
Our people are finally fed up at the way we're being treated, and we decided we're going to organize this GM and put things right the way they should be.
I had 17 years on salary, and I got cut Friday.
Is that your first layoff?
First time. It's ridiculous. They treat us like dogs. It really is. I don't know how else to phrase it. All these people, you know, they're the same way. They don't know what to do. They take 17 years of your life and then dump you.
Well, only some of those workers at today's meeting are eligible to join the UAW. United Parcel Service handles an average of 6 million packages a day, but after Wednesday, that may drop down to 0 packages a day. That's because 80,000 UPS employees represented by the Teamsters Union are threatening to strike Wednesday night if they don't have an agreement on a new contract. The old agreement expired on Friday at midnight. A federal mediator plans to step into the negotiations tomorrow in an effort to head off a strike. In the meantime, the company is advising its clients not to ship packages outside of their local areas in order to avoid having shipments interrupted by that possible strike. Dana?
50 years ago, some 5,000 unemployed Detroiters gathered at the gates of the Ford River Rouge plant in Dearborn. And what was intended to be a march in behalf of jobs and food turned into a bloody riot that left 5 people dead and several others injured. Channel 7's Jack McCarthy has this report on a ceremony held today in commemoration of that bloody rally, and also talked with one man who vividly recalled that violent day.
March 8th, 1932. The story in the New York Times read, carrying banners and signs demanding jobs, 3,000 demonstrators, many of them unemployed Ford workers, yesterday marched in orderly fashion along 4th Street to Miller Road. At the Dearborn city limits, they met police who told them to turn back. Ignoring the warning, they moved forward and fighting instantly broke out. Police hurled tear gas. The marchers responded with rocks. Police then pulled guns and fired right into the crowd. 50 years later, during ceremonies to honor the memory of the 5 who died in the Hunger March, Frank Sykes, who led the Detroit Unemployment Council in the early 30s, recalled the tragic day.
No warning. They turned loose. They started shooting. And then they turned high-pressure water hose on us. People started throwing rocks, whatever they could get their hands on, and running. And there was one lady climbed the top of the car and yelled, "Lay down on the kids." And that's the way it was.
Jack McCarthy, Channel 7 Action News, reported.
A move underway tonight that would make it even harder to get information out of the government. We'll tell you about that in just a moment. Dana?
And a lot of optimism tonight as a local town fights for its survival.
Imagine the hot sun on your back, the sand beneath your feet, the sound of the surf. Bath sandals from Hudson's could breeze through the summer with you in comfort and style. So when you start fishing around for fun footwear ideas, reel in some bath sandals. You won't want just one pair. You'll want a whole catch. Don't let this summer be the one that got away. Come to Hudson's and you'll fall for bass. Hook, line, and sinker.
We're Eastern, America's favorite way to fly.
Sybil Moran. Eastern taught her to be a flight attendant, but nobody had to teach her to like people. For 3 years now, more people have flown Eastern than any airline in the free world. The reason is Sybil and all the people at Eastern who really do earn their wings every day.
We're Eastern, America's favorite way to fly. Come fly with Eastern.
Warmer weather is on the way. We'll talk about it in detail coming up very shortly right here on Action News.